Hey guys, this is Nitepunk. I'm here in 343 Lab, and today we're going to talk about drum production. Let's go ahead and make a drum beat first. So we have the whole drum beat here. It sounds very good, very groovy. And next part of the drum production is mixing and processing the whole drum group through compressors and different effects that makes everything glued to each other and takes the whole drum beat to the next level. So let's go ahead and mix individual channels. First, I think we will need EQ8 on, it's an audio effects, EQ8 on like every channel. So let me drop all this. If you press Alt, you can make a duplication of everything, even if it's an effect or just a sample. Mostly kicks have very muddy area around like 100 Hertz, which I like to always duck a little bit, maybe like 3 dB. It kind of helps the drums to have an air. Usually, all the samples have low end, which is all the claps or hi-hats and samples that are not very, they're not like. Also, one very important tip for mixing drums and generally in mixing is cutting lows. Wherever you don't necessarily hear lows, there still might be some low frequencies, so you should always pay attention. For example, in claps here, we don't really hear the bass, but we still have a lot of information over here, so we have to cut this with high pass filter. I just cleaned up the low end from each channel with the EQ8, so let's see how it sounds. Pretty good. Okay, so next thing, we will have to compress those layered snares together so it sounds more like a one sample. For this, we will need a glue compressor. In here, we should have a longer attack so the transients can go through and release, so the compressed sound comes up back to its original volume. Yeah, always be careful with the compression because sometimes it's easy to overdo it. So it's very important to go slowly, stage by stage. One very important part of the mixing drums is very subtle sidechain. So I always use just a tiny bit of sidechain on with the kick and snare on hi-hats and percussions. So kick and snare can cut through the mix a little bit more. Also very important not to overdo it. So it's let's see how it sounds. Let's go and set up the side chain. So I have kick and snare here. Let's call this kick, snare. Let's group these two. Right now, I'm gonna put a compressor on this. Over here, you can maximize the compressor. Okay, so now we have the full drum beat, each channel mixed well. Everything sounds clean. Final stage to drum processing, I think, is compressing the whole beat as a full. So let's go ahead and drop compressor on it. Once again, attack should be all the way up because we want transient to go through compressor and then start compressing. Ratio, it's up to your taste, but I would suggest 4. And let's go slowly compress the loudest parts of the drums and slowly start compressing it. Another very important part of the drum compression is parallel compression, which is pretty much strong compression, hard compressed sound, and original raw sound, and they're mixed with each other. I have a threshold all the way down, and I have my dry wet all the way down as well, so I can slowly mix it in. Go ahead and do it. Let's see how it sounds before compression and after compression. Yeah, there's a huge difference. As you can see, without all those two glue compressors, it almost sounds like the project's being played. But now with the actual, those two compressors, it sounds like it's already a record. One more time. And for like extra saturation, we can turn on soft clipping here and then give a little more saturation with drive. A little too much. Okay, so I think I'm done. As you can see, where I first made this beat, and then second stage was mixing and cleaning up all the extra frequencies, extra low end, and all that stuff with EQ8. Next thing, so sidechaining percussions with kick and snare, so they can cut through mix and hit stronger. And final thing was very subtle drum compression and a little bit saturation here and there. If you want to gain volume, I would suggest use saturation because it kind of gives extra harmonics, which makes the sound a little fuller. But also you need to be careful because it's still a distortion, so you might distort if you're not really careful with it. And yeah, as you can see, the glue compressor is very crucial for making things sound together and making it sound like an actual record, because it actually glues things together and it sounds like a record instead of something being played straight from the Ableton project. So always pay attention to that. That's how I process my drums. My name is Nitepunk. Thank you 343 Labs for having me.